What's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm gonna walk you through the best PS5 graphics settings that I personally recommend for getting the most out of your PlayStation 5. These are the exact settings that I've been using with the latest system firmware, so everything is completely up to date and works with all the current features. To get started, head over to your PS5 settings menu. From here, scroll down and select screen and video. Next, click on video output, and this is where you're gonna find all the relevant options tied to your display performance. If you want a full breakdown of what your PlayStation 5 currently supports, select video output information, and it's going to give you a detailed overview of all supported resolutions, refresh rates, and all other technical features. Need more context about what each setting does? There's a handy learn more option in the same menu. It explains each supported feature in depth, so if you're curious about something like VRR or ALLM, it's definitely worth checking out. Now let's talk about resolution, as this is one of the most important features when it comes to getting those hyper-realistic effects in your games. Oh, but before we dive into that, just in case you're wondering what this is and how I managed to do this on a mug, this right here is actually the world's first AI-powered pixel display mug, packed with a bunch of features you'd probably never expect a coffee mug to have. All of these features are made possible through an app called Bubble, which you can easily download from the App Store. Once you open the app and sync it with the PixelMug, that's when things start to get really interesting. To start off, as you can see right here, it's displaying custom text. In this case, it's my channel name, but you can set it to show pretty much anything you want. Not only that, you can also draw your own pixel art or even upload your custom GIFs and send them directly to the mug. It'll display them instantly. If that's not cool enough, the mug also features interactive mini games. My personal favorite is this slot machine game. Just swipe through the screens until you find it. Tap the display and it spins like a real slot machine. Another awesome feature that I found is this motion sensing animation, which reacts based on how you tilt the mug. It's one of those little things that make it feel super high tech. Now, here's a feature that I think a lot of you will appreciate. This mug can actually detect the temperature of the liquid inside. So if I happen to enjoy my coffee at a particular temperature on a certain day, I can just note that down and aim to replicate it every time. On top of all that, it can also display things like the current time and weather, since it's connected to your smartphone via the Bubble app. And it's honestly a futuristic take on a simple mug, and yeah, it does a lot more than just hold your coffee. If you want to grab one of these for yourself, I'll leave a link down below in the description. Definitely check them out, and a big shout out to PixelMug for sponsoring today's video. With that out of the way, let's jump right back in to the best resolution settings for your PS5. Now, I recommend setting your resolution to the highest resolution available on your screen, because what this does is allow your PS5 to manually choose the best resolution your TV or monitor supports, whether that's 1080p or full 4K. It's the easiest way to make sure your games look as sharp as possible without messing anything. A lot of you might have it set to automatic, so definitely change this moving forward. Next up is the 4K video transfer rate, which affects your chroma subsampling and how much data your HDMI cable sends. I would suggest leave this on automatic unless you're running into issues like screen flickering, because this setting will adapt to your setup for optimal performance. Next up, we've got the variable refresh rate or VRR. If your TV or monitor supports variable refresh rate, you'll see an option to enable it right here. Variable refresh rate helps smooth out gameplay and reduce screen tearing, especially in fast-paced or graphically intense games. I suggest setting this to automatic too if your display supports it. However, keep in mind that applying VRR to unsupported titles can cause unexpected visual glitches. And then we've got auto low latency mode. This one's designed to cut down input lag while gaming by switching your TV into game mode automatically. I pretty much leave this on automatic too, but there is a trade-off. When it's enabled, your TV disables a lot of its image processing features, which might affect things like color depth or sharpness. So if you're someone who likes full color control over your TV's picture settings, you might prefer to turn this off manually. Now let's talk about HDR settings. If your display supports HDR, make sure to set it on when supported. Setting it to always on forces HDR even when a game doesn't natively support it, which can actually mess up with the brightness and contrast, making things look way worse instead of better. And this is why a lot of people think that their PS5 isn't looking as good as it should. As for HDR adjustments, I don't usually tweak this manually, but if you're using a recent Sony TV, the PS5 is smart enough to automatically calibrate brightness and tone mapping for HDR. Sure, the accuracy of that auto calibration can be debated, but let's be honest, unless you've got a pro level calibration gear, there's no perfect way to dial it in by hand. Now, let's get into deep color output. you'll want to leave this set to automatic. If it's turned off, you might run into problems getting HDR to function correctly. So to keep things simple and compatible, just let the system handle it. Next, we've got RGB range. Sony suggests only changing this if your connected HDMI device doesn't properly communicate its RGB settings. For the vast majority of modern TVs and gaming monitors, the default settings works perfectly fine. So unless you notice washed out blacks or overly crushed shadows, there's no real reason you might want to change it. Now for 120Hz output, and this is also very important, if your TV or monitor supports 120Hz refresh rates, definitely set this to automatic. It allows for smoother and more responsive gameplay in titles that are optimized for higher frame rates. Just keep in mind that if you disable 120Hz while using VRR, the refresh rate range actually drops from 48 to 120Hz down to just 48 to 60Hz, and that means you're losing the upper end of the fluid motion benefit. So if VRR is something you're actively using, I definitely recommend keeping 120Hz enabled. And there you have it guys, those are the best graphics settings for the PlayStation 5 that I personally use and recommend. If you found this video to be helpful, make sure to drop a like and also subscribe to the channel. That being said, thanks a lot for watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.